The M&A landscape is certainly booming in Saudi Arabia. If you had asked me the question a number of years ago, my answer would be slightly different. From our experience, we have been working quite a lot with international companies that are seeking to enter the Saudi market and forming joint venture agreements, but that has significantly increased in recent years. What's quite interesting is that the dynamics have changed in the sense that we're looking at Saudi businesses looking at M&A opportunities in the country, but also in the GCC, but are also seeking to enter foreign markets at the same time. And this is also true for regional players, particularly private equity. What Saudi Arabia offers, I think, is quite unique in the sense that if you look at the country and you compare it to other regional players, Saudi Arabia happens to be a quite stable country. Both the UAE and Saudi Arabia is where we have seen significant business activity. Yes, Saudi Arabia has certain demographic problems and issues, but these are being addressed. The issue here as well is that the country is spending a lot on infrastructure development, which is providing a lot of comfort for both regional and international players, particularly in the M&A field. I should also say that what we have seen recently, which is quite interesting, is that we're moving away from the traditional definition of M&A, and what we are seeing more and more of is Saudi businesses looking at acquiring businesses that provide horizontal integration of their operations. So that is a way by which Saudi businesses are trying to create further integration and harmonization of operations. What's interesting as well is that the gap, the valuation gap between the buyer and the seller is closing, or is becoming narrower, in the sense that where in the past you have a seller that was asking for a price that did not really make a lot of sense from the buyer point of view, but because of the recognition that the M&A generates from the restructuring point of view, from optimizing capital and operations, there is greater recognition of the value add that M&A generates in this marketplace. So we have seen private equity houses in the region who have entered into transactions, JVs in particular, or acquiring a stake in particularly family-owned conglomerates. These businesses value and see the long-term benefit of people coming in and advising on restructuring and harmonizing operations. So as far as the M&A landscape is concerned, it will continue to boom. I think shareholder expectations on the buy and sell side are becoming more aligned, and it's quite interesting to see that today being manifested throughout the conference. From the perspective of Kroll, and what we have seen in the region is that there appears to be greater synergy between members of the audience here as far as what are the key targets, priorities in Saudi Arabia, what are the specific issues that corporations and conglomerates in Saudi Arabia face when they're exporting products and services outside of Saudi Arabia. I used a figure earlier today, which is in 2012, we have seen export of capital in the neighborhood of $51 billion, whereas in 2003, that figure was significantly lower. So as far as Saudi businesses being more comfortable with leaving their comfortable surroundings and going to markets which are higher risk, there is a recognition that high risk equals high reward, whether it is in sub-Saharan Africa, looking at various industries and markets in oil and gas, telecom, mining, or even in countries here in the GCC. We have also seen Iraq, a really significant surge in activity, particularly in Kurdistan. So what has been really interesting today is for us to explain to members of the audience what it is that they have to do in order to identify the risks in the appropriate manner, and to design the strategies that are required to mitigate those risks. And there has been recognition, agreement that there are specific areas that businesses have to look at in order to maximize their return on investments.